Hello, standing folks. Today we are at the office of architect Ihab one of the designers of Library of Alexandria, who will take us in a journey through the time, through design, and tell us more stories and ideas and thoughts about the design of Alexandria Library.
Actually, it all started, first of all, welcome to my office here in Alexandria.
Thank you.
And it all started 1989, summer. I was working on my master's at USC, University of Southern California. And I had a friend who was working with me at the same time, doing his thesis. Christoph Kappeler, he's an Austrian architect, working on his master's as well. And we were a group, and one day Christoph asked me, I joined a group of friends, Norwegian friends, a couple of Norwegian friends from Oslo. They applied and bought the book for the competition of the Alexandria Library. And it's organized by the UNESCO and the UIA. And we would like if you can join us, since you're an architect from Alexandria, and your master's also is on a very close area to the library. And so you have a lot of maps and books and studies and stuff like that. We would love to have someone like you in our group. Of course, without any hesitation, said, sure, Alexandria, hey, you're in my city. So immediately I joined the group. Mm-hmm. Imagine that the pyramids were torn down and nobody knows what it looks like, theoretically. And then you are supposed to design it again without knowing what it looks like. So the Library of Alexandria was something very, very similar in the sense of a very important building historically and educational wise and everything. The library was one of the seven wonders. It had so many manuscripts and information and scientists and studies.
Was it burnt or that was a
nobody knows exactly if it's burnt or earthquake. Mm-hmm. There's two theories.
Yeah.
Actually, it's too bad. It's a pity that nobody knows what it looks like. All what you see in movies and sketches is an assumption mm-hmm. of what it used to look like.
Yeah.
But actually, exactly nobody knows. All the description and sketches of it is gone. That's too bad. But very few have left about the old library. So anyway, we decided to, since we're going to build it in this century, so we decided to have a new look, a modern building with an old historical, at the same time, texture, old historic sense. First of all, we have the sea and the existing building of the auditorium, the conference center, let's call it. And it was built already. And we had the hospital here, Children's Hospital, and the sea, and north was like this, and the University of Alexandria in the back. We had the sea, Corniche, and another road at the back. Port Said, yes. So when we decided to have, first of all, the design concept was to include all the requirements that was wanted to be in this building, in a building that is really subtle, soft, not very high, but at the same time we need to find a way to have a symbolic, a strong architectural statement of what was the library before. Mm-hmm. You see, the library was the beacon of knowledge.
Right.
All the scientists, all the important scientists in the world They had theories and researchers and manuscripts or books, as we say, in it. And a lot of people from throughout the world, they would come and learn in this university of knowledge. So we said, okay, we're going to make this building a circle, as if it's a torchlight, embedded in the ground, tilted, so we can have, you make it show like it's a torchlight with a sun or a moon or whatever source of light. Of course, the strongest is the sun. Tilted this way, embedded in the ground, transmitting the knowledge from Egypt, Alexandria, to the world.
Right.
Then the angle, we had to play with the angle in a sense of, we wanted the light to go inside the natural light, but without sun rays. Mm-hmm. Just light, no sun rays. And this can only happen if we have all the windows faced north.
Right.
An exact north. 0, 0, 0, 0 to the angles north.
That's why you had to...
So we said, okay, now the building is going to be this. Now north is coming this way, so the windows has to be perpendicular to the north. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how I'm going to do that? So structure-wise, the building is sitting on a module of columns of 9 by 16. 9 by 16. And that's the modular of the columns. So we took it
9 by 16.
9 meters. 9 meters, right. Yes. Okay. 9 meters by 16 meters. So the diagonal of this is going to be the window. The diagonal, can you see this? The diagonal of this module will face the north. Mm-hmm. So that immediately decided how we're going to place the building.
Right. So
the diagonal perpendicular to it is facing north. As I said, to the angle of 0, 0, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, 0. So that means that the sun will rise from the east, going up all the way down to the west, without going through the window. The sun, there's rays.
Right. So it doesn't affect the box inside.
No affection, exactly. No, it doesn't affect at all. In both ways. You don't want the reader to have any glare. You don't want any glare inside the library. Of course, the sun rays will create glare. At the same time, preserve the books mm-hmm. from the sun rays. And at the same time, have enough light from all those windows. The roof, is windows facing north. Mm-hmm. So now the other thing is, since the building, this was already there, the conference center, and we need all that space. So we decided to have a cut in the building, to make a cut.
I wanted to ask about, about this missing piece?
This is the outer space of the, we had to cut it, and it probably, this is the ratio, and so that's the plaza open space that's cut from the circle. Mm-hmm. And it's almost touching, almost not much, but the hospital. This is a new approach in library design.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the first approach in libraries, in the design of libraries, to have one huge universal open space, mm-hmm. To have all the stacks in it, all the books, and it's divided into levels, so you can have each level with a different subject. Periodicals in a section, and different sciences and sections and so forth. And beneath the levels inside, where you don't see that, is storage, closed book stacks, other admin offices, stuff like that. So half of the circle is open space, and the other half, 3/4 open space, which is the cut area as we talked. And actually, after digging, we found a lot of nice artifacts and a lot of treasure, Roman sculptures and artwork.
That's now in a museum inside.
And now we decided, okay, we'll take all this carefully taken care of and put inside the library as a museum. And so we created space inside to house all this. I used to have maps. I mean, actually, the one behind me is one of the maps that I drew myself during my studies at USC. It took me a month maybe to draw that, and of course there is other maps, but this is one in particular. I love it with the figure grounded.
You can see the library on the upper.
I added, after I finished the map, there was no library yet, but after we won it, I drew the library with not black, but in a sense a different look. The others were all black figure ground.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, all the studies that we did on this area, and maps and little published about Alexandria, did put us in a perspective where we can really think and design, and because design is basically, it's a vision. Mm-hmm. The way you visualize this and how it looks like, and you should have how do you call it, an i9 or i7 chip with a quick animation process generating to render the 3D quickly in your mind, and think about it and then jot it down. Okay, the way it started again, as I said, it was basically it was supposed to be a layer of copper around the building, which is the old part of the building. The old is the wall. Mm-hmm. This is the old section of it, and the new one is the roof. So again, this is the mix of old and new. Mm-hmm. The old one, actually the idea was from interior designer, the wife of the Norwegian architect, Cheryl Thorsen. Her name is Jorunn Sandnes. She's a beautiful lady very artistic, in a sense that she said, okay, let's make the wall this stories with different languages on layers with the building. Then it evolved into granite. They decided after that to have the granite wall from Aswan.
Mm-hmm. City south of Egypt.
Yes, from south of Egypt, to get the stone from there, shipped to Hina in Alexandria, in Burj Al Arab, where to be cut and carved and engraved with sandblast. The idea is to have letters from all civilizations, since dot, dash, slash, till shapes, and all cultures throughout the world. To have all the letters without forming a word.
Just letters.
Just letters. As a library, to have letters. Actually, there was a small conflict between myself and my colleagues. I wanted, since the library is in Alexandria in Egypt, I wanted to have the word only one letter formed, which is Iqra. Mm-hmm. Iqra, which means in English is read.
Yeah.
Read. It has so different significance, in a sense of it's the first thing mentioned. I mean, was revealed from the Quran.
Yep.
The first verse was the Muslim holy book, the Quran, says, read.
Yeah.
And it was the first message to Prophet Muhammad, read. Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's a library, and it's in Egypt. So what you really want to tell the people is read. Actually, we give away one parking level. I mean, there was several parking levels for the building. And because of water table and the fear of going through into water, this is one of the things we had to cut out, complete level of parking, which actually was really needed. Going now, one of the main problems of the library is parking.
Yeah.
It's a very simple, fair-face concrete posts with this a very simple head of posts. Resembles the lotus plant, the flower. Again, it's fair face, not painted, so that it would. Most of the materials is wood, natural, marble, granite, the walls, concrete, fair face, concrete columns, wood floor, glass of the windows, with again fair face beams. Everything is fair face, clear concrete, very well done. Much less service-wise. You don't need to keep repainting every other year. No peeling of paint, no nothing. This really will survive so many years. As you know, in all competitions, you have a deadline.
Yes.
And the deadline, when it says the 30th of July, which means 11:59 p.m.
Just before midnight.
Just before midnight. So if it's 12:01, it's the other day.
Fast, yeah.
And the day of submitting this, I don't remember exactly, but let's assume it's the 30th of July. We had, of course, at that time, we drew everything with hands, with ink, hands, and no computers whatsoever. We had these things shot, litho films, and printed on big sheets, and then we glue them on foam, photo foam, styrofoam sheets to have it solid, and then wrap it and stuff. We had a problem in printing at that last day, and we were late, and at that time we had to submit the drawings to France in the post office. We had it wrapped, different packages and so forth, and we went to several. It was after 6 p.m. The post offices in Los Angeles, they are all closed, except one office in the airport that works 24 hours. We had to go drive to the airport to submit the drawings to the post office inside the airport. After everything was ready, we arrived there 11:30 p.m. at night.
Just before the time.
Just before midnight. You know, and of course we have the receipt of the post office with a stamp, with a clock stamp, that we submitted the drawings on that day going to France from blah blah blah, and we had the timing 11:30 p.m. Yet, if we had delivered this 12:01 p.m., which will flip to the other day,
your design wouldn't have been considered.
The design will not be considered. No doubt about it.
That's very interesting.
And we would have had in Alexandria.
Isn't that something in common between architects?
Different buildings.
Submitting at last minute?
Yes.
And we're always seeking extensions if we could.
Yes. So last minute submission. It was a typical case in this project, and luckily the office in the post office in Los Angeles in the airport was open. Normally in most cities, post offices in the airports are 24 hours.
Yeah, but good thing that you knew that.
We knew that.
Yeah.
We knew that we have an option. I mean, we wanted, of course, to submit it before 6 p.m.
Right.
Before any office next.
Were you working until last minute?
No, there's just the printing.
Just the printing?
Yeah, we finished like a day before.
Okay.
But the printing itself, we had a problem in printing. The seamless edges and stuff like that. And
can you imagine?
And I remember well, we had a kind of a quarrel between the friends, the five of us, in the drawings of the toilets. Of course, you know, when you have so many people involved, you need to have 5-6 toilets, 5, 6 sinks. There's a table where it says the numbers you need. And we were drawing each with a template, the toilets and the bathroom. And there was like one toilet missing. We have to redesign the toilet to include one toilet. So I told them, hey, okay guys, I mean, forget it. This design is not going to be thrown away because we're not putting this stupid toilet. Yeah, I mean, if we are missing a toilet, not drawn, big deal. It's taken care of later on a different stage. But in the concept phase, if we put 4 or 5 or 6, but I remember I guess it was Christoph, the Austrian architect, said, no, we don't want take any chances. We have to make the 6 toilets and we have to redesign it, and it, of course, took some time. But then again, I said, forget it, guys. I mean, if we think about the level of putting 5 or 6 toilets in a project with this concept, we're wasting time. I mean, if you just put a space, men's toilet, ladies' toilet, that's enough. I mean, you don't have to really design the toilet. Let it be. I mean, but we have such kind of quarrels and arguments.
Because at the concept, it was pre-designed. It's before even SD.
Yeah. So it's not a significant real, but everybody has his own vision of things. But anyway, it's funny.
That's very interesting.
After it's done, what we really miss is that we throw away all the sketches that we drew.
Oh, you didn't keep them?
We did not keep them. We had to give away the apartment that was for rent. We have a lot of sketches like this. Was all thrown away. That was a pity. We never thought that we will win.
You will win, yeah.
Never. Didn't came to our mind.
Yeah, if you went to the airport 20 minutes late, we wouldn't have this building now.
We wouldn't have this building now. So you see, timing and very critical.
Yes.
Yeah. In order for you to have anything that's not horizontal, tilted, we wanted to confirm and emphasize the tilt. And the only thing that really will always represent for the eye, any human eye, the absolute horizon is the water. Right. If you put green, the green could be tilted, sloped. Could be any material will be sloped except water. Water will always be the absolute horizon. It is the horizon. So we decided to have this reflecting pool around the library to confirm and emphasize the angle of the building. Mm-hmm. So this is why there was some ideas about having it green, have it with palms and greenery, but I said no. Water is the only absolute horizon reference that will confirm and emphasize the tilt of the building.
At the end of the journey, we would like to thank Mr. Habbak. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the time today.
You're welcome.
It was really interesting, and we had a lot of knowledge, and we learned a lot today about the design phase of this unique building. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Welcome at my office, and welcome to Alexandria. And I hope you enjoyed all this inside information about the project.
I did, and I hope my folks, my peers do as well.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.